This plane has been here for hours now. They said it could be a few days before they're able to get it hauled out. At that point, the FAA would take over the investigation to figure out what exactly went wrong. The old grass fields have been torn up and they're now replaced with artificial turf. This is downtown Louisville back in 2016, lively and bustling. This is that same stretch of downtown Louisville now. During the work week, around lunchtime. That announcement will be made at 6 o'clock tonight. If you're trying to figure out what to do with your family in the meantime, we have a list of different activities around the city on our website. In the past, this room was designed for just one student to live in, but now with the new Try It program, it's gonna have to hold two. 37-year-old Brian Henderson had been missing since Saturday night, when officials say he went out on a canoe in what they say was incredibly rough water from the rain. This is the journey you'll have to take. All lanes of I-64 West, starting at the Watterson until Story Avenue, will be closed starting Friday. It's also a good idea to ask the facility what kind of security they have. Metro Health says if you spot a tick, to put it in some sort of container. That can be a water bottle or a pill bottle. In a relatively steady flow of people coming in, the employers that I've talked to have said they've had a decent amount of interest, and a lot of them say that local bars are to blame. Is Brian Zowers. Usually during arraignment court, defendants are instructed to stay quiet. But Zowers did not take that advice. TARC says around a quarter of their buses don't hit their stops on time, and they're working hard to make the fleets more reliable.
It's getting me late to work, it's getting others late to work, and I just don't think that's fair.
Tiffany Caudell rides a TARC bus to work most days.
They don't let us know that the bus is not going to show up. So last Saturday, I sat on the bus stop for an hour and a half.
Caudell frustrated that getting there on time is out of her control, and TARC says most riders agree. A survey showed on-time performance is a top priority. On time means arriving at a stop no more than 2 minutes early or 6 minutes late, but on average, fewer than 75% of buses make it to their stops within that window. TARC says a lot of the slowdowns come from the time it takes a bus to hit a stop and until it leaves. And if someone takes extra long to pay, that can throw an entire bus off track.
Dropping 175 pennies in our fare box can delay the process.
TARC points to a changing labor market and unpredictable traffic patterns, making it harder to manage buses. Ridership is down about 40% from what it was before the pandemic.
Kind of a wave of retirements, with the baby boomers retiring.
Hiring, also a challenge. TARC is 20 drivers down and nearly a dozen mechanics short.
We know how frustrating it is for the customer, and we want to make sure that they know we're taking it seriously and trying to take actions for it.
Actions like changing the way the transit service monitors buses. TARC is opening a line of communication between employees at its headquarters and drivers in real time to keep buses on track, calling it air traffic control.
Hey, this bus is behind, can we speed up, or what's going on?
In the next 6 months, TARC will start mobile ticketing to make boarding faster. Within a few years, it will use a new bus tracking system, all in an effort to make the journey a bit smoother.
Running 10 and 15 minutes behind is kind of crazy.
For riders like Caudell, in Louisville with photojournalist Dave White, Adi Schanie, WDRB News.
This is Madison with her weird rap.
Heather and Nick Mayberry live in this lively Stanton, Kentucky home with their blended family.
We just brought him home.
6 happy children and many furry friends.
Where is Killer?
Last year, the newlyweds were excited to learn
10 weeks and 0 days.
They were expecting another child, their first together. They suffered a devastating miscarriage. But a few months later,
you can see her eyeballs right here.
Joy when they learned they were pregnant again.
That's her left foot. When we first heard her heartbeat, we were just, we just wanted to cry because we were so excited that, this was going to be a healthy baby.
They picked a name, Willow. But 21 weeks into the pregnancy,
you see how there's no round to her head. It was literally like we were living a nightmare. I mean, we still are.
Doctors told them Willow had anencephaly, a rare birth defect that prevents the brain and skull from forming properly in the womb.
They explained that Willow most likely was not alive. Just because she had her heartbeat, she had no brain activity.
The doctor gave them 2 options: give birth to a baby that could not survive, or get an abortion out of state.
Do I continue to carry my dead child and suffer for the rest of the 18 weeks? Or do I do the hardest thing that I've ever had to face in my life so that I can support my family?
Mayberry did not want an abortion. She wanted to be induced early so she could deliver and hold her baby before Willow felt too much pain. But that would be considered illegal under Kentucky's abortion law.
In our situation, we should have been given the chance to give birth to our daughter, because they stole that from us.
At 23 weeks pregnant, feeling it was her only option, Mayberry traveled to Illinois to have the procedure.
Every bit of me wanted to get up off that table and leave and just keep her. We're grieving a teddy bear with her heartbeat. We're grieving a picture, her footprints.
Kentucky Senator Cassie Chambers Armstrong, a Democrat, says her heart breaks for families like Mayberry's.
There are real families, there are real people, there are real women that are suffering.
Armstrong, an attorney, says Kentucky doctors are often hesitant to provide care in these circumstances because of the legal consequences.
I worry that we don't have the political willpower right now to do anything to stop these stories from happening time and time and time again.
Kentucky's law only allows abortions to save the life of the mother. Even some Republicans recognize that poses issues, as in Mayberry's case.
It was interpreted correctly, unfortunately, and that's why the legislature needs to come back to the table and change the law.
He proposed a change to state law, allowing a woman to get an abortion in Kentucky if 2 doctors say the baby wouldn't survive outside of the womb. But that amendment failed.
It's heartbreaking. I've talked to a number of my own constituents, some of whom are rock-ribbed Republicans and who are pro-life as they come, and this has happened to them.
Mayberry always considered herself pro-life until she had to make a choice she never expected.
I literally have cried and said, I hope God forgives me, and that I do get to go to heaven one day and see her.
As graduates walked down the aisle and up the stage, anxiously waiting to receive their diplomas, one man was watching them in a sea of family and friends.
I had no idea whatsoever.
89-year-old Roy Collette was drafted to serve in the Korean War in 1954. He left DuPont Manual High School in 10th grade and never graduated.
You didn't question it, you just did it.
His daughter, Angela Parsons, is the principal of the J. Graham Brown School. When she heard that JCPS in the state allow veterans from World War II, the Vietnam War, and the Korean War to receive a high school diploma, she knew she needed to surprise her dad. To get him to the ceremony, Parsons told her dad she would be receiving an award.
I would like to welcome my dad, Roy Collett, to the stage. Thank you for your service and congratulations, Dad. I love you.
I was lucky standing there. Just remarkable.
As a principal, Parsons has called hundreds of names to walk across the stage, but this one was extra special.
Probably the one that was the longest time coming.
A diploma, 72 years in the making.
It's remarkable,
When you think about what he had to do to earn his diploma, oh my goodness, I don't think anybody would choose that route.
A proud new member of the class of 2023.
I was very proud. I'm just really proud of him. I love him a lot. He's just been a wonderful dad.
In Louisville with photojournalist Frank Stamper, Adi Schanie, WDRB News.